TYRION leading the Freak main company does look pretty freaking awesome, not gonna lie. Their color scheme does match up nicely with him, and here's TYRION on foot. Today gonna be the highlight of this video. Rider Rohan taking his High Elves up against the Skaven. And yeah, TYRION on foot, in theory, benefited somewhat from the recent changes to Footlords. TYRION in general, pretty underrated to be honest. He is relatively expensive for what he gets for you, but just with Martial Mastery active, he does have the highest base stat line attack and defense-wise of any character in the game. Like 99% sure. Fire resistance, some physical resistance as well from the Guardian from the Pure main company. Got Lore of Fire also. Flamespire Phoenix, some Rangers, Spearmen, 3 Bolt Throwers, Illyrian Reavers, and Silver Helms. Pretty good stuff. Up against Deathmaster, Snitch, and an Assassin. Got 3 Rat Ogres pushing out wide. Skaven Slave Slingers here. A couple of Globadiers. Some Chaff up front. Plague Furnace, a Hell Pit Abomination, Council Guards, and some Slingers. So TYRION, what does he bring to the table? Well, obviously on his horse, he is one of the fastest combat lords in the game at like 95 plus speed on the ground, which is absolutely insane. On foot, obviously, he is relatively slow, but yeah, just ridiculously good stats. He does have good AP values now as well, good base weapon damage. He's also got Senfang, of course, and the Heart of Averlorn. Looks like he does not actually have the Heart of Averlorn this time, but can potentially have some strong self-healing. Feint and Riposte gives him even more stats and physical resistance. You can definitely stack that with Guardian. Get quite a bit of physical resistance and just crazy attack and defense stats. Sunfang, of course, very high DPS, kind of wind cone attack. Does have a pretty long cooldown, but potentially devastating against high value, low armor targets especially. Right now, the Bolt Thrower is just focusing on these Globadiers, which might seem like a little bit of an odd target since they're so cheap, but they are exceptionally dangerous. Definitely need to take them out with whatever means necessary, so from a tactical perspective, that definitely makes sense. Meanwhile, the Cavalry kind of positioning out on the side. For this Skaven player, I will say, you could basically swap out a couple of these Rat Ogres and bring 3 Hounds instead to do this same kind of flank attack here. Keep the other Rat Ogres back with your main line to counter Cavalry and such. Maybe try and trap TYRION up, but main lines are getting into range here. Globes will start tossing, do quite a bit of damage. There's no Silverin Guards here. Silverin Guards with their magic resistance are a little bit more resilient to the Globes, although they are more expensive. But the Ranger is going to get in here, just absolutely carve things up. Rangers obviously try great against most Skaven infantry. Piercing Bolts of Burning also going down here, forcing those Globes out of position and still doing a pretty substantial amount of damage to them. But even just forcing them to move there, not allowing them to fire free into these blobs of High Elf troops. Like you can see these Rangers now pushing through with the Illyrian Reavers starting to clean up some of the slings there. TYRION now getting into combat with the Pure main company. Going to be pretty important to have the Pure main company here, just in general. The Armor Sundering will synergize well with a whole bunch of units, including Spearmen up against, especially like the Plague Furnace. Not too many high armor targets that the Skaven may bring, but here they're going to get a really nice engagement against the Council Guards. Which is a pretty ideal situation for them. Match up very well. 47 attack, 48 defense versus the Council Guards, 32 and 50 defense. So, yeah, Pure main company definitely having an edge in terms of stats. The Armor Sundering as well, once they start to make contact there, will likewise help swing that just a bit. You can see the Bolt Throwers are focus firing on the Plague Furnace, which makes sense since the AoE drain is super strong, but the High Elves have managed to break quite a bit in this back line over here. Meanwhile, the Silver Helms do a really nice job just blocking up these Rat Ogres, allowing the Spearmen, and a nice side charge from these Reavers as well. Reavers with their 40 charge actually do quite a bit of damage to Rat Ogres on the charge, so you can see that one unit especially just getting tanked there. The other one's not having too great of a time, but checking back in the center, Snitch and the Assassin moved in here to try and get at this caster potentially. This Lore of Fire caster, they are a little bit inundated by Elf Cavalry and Infantry and so on here, but the Hell Pit Abomination absolutely pounding that Flamespire Phoenix. Nice little Plague Breath there to do a bit of damage as well, but yeah, you can see the Council Guard here between TYRION, of course, fighting them, and the Pure main company, and then a brutal Sunfang just rips them to shreds there. Yeah, Storm Vermin definitely having a very bad time. You can see, though, Snitch did use his Sigil there on the caster. She's getting torn to shreds in the background. TYRION's going to try and push through. Doesn't have the greatest mass on foot. You can see it does have a little bit of a hard time pushing through Storm Vermin, but he's going to get in here. Does he actually go after the Hell Pit? Where'd he go? Yeah, it looks like he's actually fighting the Hell Pit now, which is also fantastic. Tyrion's got pretty fast attack animations on foot. That is kind of one hidden benefit of him fighting it this way. He's got this kind of fancy, like, Jedi power stance here. Definitely very cool animations. Oh, man, the Pure Main Company just shredding those storm vermin. Man, the Council Guard just having a horrible, horrible day here. Oh, yeah. Very cool stuff. Meanwhile, the Skaven Death Blob is rolling, but it's definitely having some struggles. A lot of the supporting units have been dealt with here. Some are on their way back. We've got some Globes here. The Rangers and the Reavers doing a great job just cleaning out all of these units in the periphery. Definitely great at doing so. And the one Bolt Thrower still online using up its ammunition, even though the other ones have been shut down. One unit at least has been shut down. This other unit about to be shut down by some summoned clan rats here. So Tyrion and the Pure Main Company finish off the last of the Council Guards. Now they're going to switch back and try and bail out this Bolt Thrower if they can. This other Bolt Thrower just kind of being forsaken for the time being. Like I said, it will pretty much use up all of its ammo, but a nice Plague Breath there on the Pure Main Company. Probably doesn't kill too many models. It might have killed a handful. But, yeah, the Skaven definitely not looking great. Balance power slightly in favor of the High Elves. So we're going to fast forward a little bit through this late game. The Rider of Rohan kind of cleans up a lot of these units. The Summoned Clan Rat's going to degenerate there. Eventually, they do catch up with that Bolt Thrower and take it out, but not before it's gotten the majority of its damage value in. Poison Wind Globes do manage to get a pretty nice volley on those Rangers, do a little bit of spiteful damage before they get shattered there, but the Flamespire Phoenix still being on the field is super critical at this point. The fact that the High Elves have access to some terror to potentially terror route off, like Snitch and the Assassin both, given that the Phoenix does magic damage and causes terror, kind of both counters to the Assassin Lords there, so yeah, we're going to keep it on fast forward a little bit. The Skaven player, not really sure exactly how he wants to take this. The last of the Slinger and other units over here being shattered, so not much else for it, but to just take the engagement eventually, which he will do. But we'll take some time here. He's going to think about it, think about draw kiting maybe, maybe not, but Phoenix, of course, can kind of maintain visibility here, drop a little Flaming Phoenix Feces on those Skaven Slave Spears just to rout them off. And the Hell Pit is regenerating this whole time, but how much is it actually helping? The Phoenix also has its proc potentially as well it could get of healing, so yeah, eventually the Skaven player will realize, like, oh, because of the cavalry situation, he does have to engage. Rider Rohan doing a good job getting a full surround in here too, and it looks like, oh, there are some more Skaven Slave Spears coming back over there. Okay, that makes sense then. Deathmaster's Sigil gets popped. He's going to use the summon as well to keep any troops from supporting, but the Pure Main Company are already in a position where they can rush in and at least saturate a little bit of this damage. Whirling Blade's going to carve up a few of them. Tyrion fighting for his life now. We're going to keep it in close cinematics with the single entities in the background, the big boys. Phoenix fighting the Hell Pit, actually slays it, so that's good RNG for the Phoenix, bad RNG for the Hell Pit. Phoenix didn't actually get its healing proc, but that's all good. Tyrion slashing at these rats. You can see he's doing fine. He's holding his own. Actually hasn't taken too much damage, all things considered, because of his stats just being so good. Even with that Assassin's Trophy, he still has, like, decent stats, right? So, oh yeah, Tyrion just absolutely dominating at this point. And with all the supporting High Elf troops coming in, starting to soak the hits for Tyrion, he's suddenly in a lot less danger. Phoenix comes over, quickly terrifies the Assassin. Snitch also gets terrified, and that's the game. Very well played, Rider of Rohan. I haven't seen Foot Tyrion in I don't know how long, but I actually ended up doing quite well here. I don't know, we'll have to look at his cost, but he tanked quite a bit of damage in addition to, you know, doing his own damage value there, which wasn't wildly impressive, but I don't think he's that expensive in this kit. We'll have to look. Your Main Company doing pretty nice as well, not quite paying for themselves, but yeah, the Reaver's definitely a bright spot. Light Cavalry against Skaven's always a good time, chasing their routing units off, and that's why I was talking about the Rout Ogres pushing over on that flank there. Like, that really could have been Poison Wolf Rats or whatever other Wolf Rats. Just use these guys for the mainline fight, but the Bolt Thrower is also doing quite nice in terms of damage value. Snitch, not quite paying for himself, probably pretty close. Same for the Plague Priest. Storm Vermin definitely had a really tough time. Those Council Guard, man, getting shredded by the Pure Mains and by Tyrion. Definitely fun stuff. Yeah, the Rat Ogres had a tough time. Decent value on the Hell Pit Abomination, definitely paid for itself. And the Globes, you can see, even as hard as they were countered, they still ended up actually paying for themselves. Just absolutely insane units. So, yeah, I'm going to be showing a few more battles featuring Tyrion over the next, I guess not featuring Tyrion, they'll have Tyrion in them, but they'll be, you know, talking specifically about other units, but just keep in mind these things as we do move through those replays. So like I said here, you don't really need Stand Your Ground because High Elves already typically have good melee defense and leadership. This is not very critical to take, and in terms of cost optimization, I would understand cutting that. So with just the Sunfang and the Feint and Riposte, he's coming in almost 1,800. It does go up to 2,000 with Heart of Averlorn, which is pretty insane for a Footlord. And, I mean, yes, the Cavalry does make him count as large, but also gives him a 90 charge bonus, a little less than 500 extra HP, and the speed, of course, as well. So I would say definitely taking him on the horse is going to be better, but taking him on foot, I don't know, it's kind of an interesting one. I'll have to try it out a little bit more myself. Just Footlords in general seem to be better now. I don't know if they're necessarily going to be the meta, super competitive, but we'll see. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this one. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.